Hello everybody, Necromancy for Kids here once again, this time bringing you my Earth, Wind, and Fire Guardian Sphinx deck. Now, this deck is especially built using cards I really wanted to play, so some of the options might not be the most optimal, and plus I don't have some of the cards I wanted to play, but I'll explain a bit at the end which ones those are. But the basic theme is that I really like Guardian Sphinx, and I wanted to figure out a way to play it. And I also really like the idea of an Earth, Wind, and Fire deck because Wind and Fire aren't really used that much, and Guardian Sphinx actually works in perfectly for that. And you'll see why in just a moment. Of course, once again, this is a casual version of the deck, so I'm not playing Duo, and I'm only playing using cards that I own because obviously these are real cards. So let's begin with, of course, Guardian Sphinx, which is a Guardian monster, unlike some others. 1700 attack, 2400 defense, and when it's flip summoned, you get to return all the opponent's monsters to the opponent's hand. So it's a pretty powerful tool if you get to use it over and over and over again. I'll bring up some of its weaknesses later and how we negate those. But next up in the deck, taking up the fire slot of Earth, Wind, and Fire, we have Stalos the Fire Monarch, also playing 2 copies of those. And in addition to that, we have one final Monarch in the deck. You could run Mobius, but I like to run Grandmarg, the Rock Monarch. It was actually one of my favorite Monarchs for a very long time, other than Zaborg. And it fits the Earth, Wind, and Fire theme that we have going on here. There's some combos with that too, with the card that we're going to bring up in a bit. But the final tribute monster that we are running in this deck is Dark Dust Spirit, which is a spirit monster, as its name gives you a clue to. And it's a tribute one that when it is normal summoned, it basically lightning vortexes the entire field. So the idea is it's recurable over and over and over again. It's an earth monster, which unfortunately you can't really take advantage of in this deck, but you can make it a Gigantes version, more of like an earth aggro monarch type of deck. But basically it's a card that you can set that your opponent thinks is something else, and also it can just blow out the opponent in a much quicker way than Guardian Sphinx can, but of course it returns back to the hand during the end phase, so it has its own downsides. Facilitating the Guardian theme of this deck is Arsenal Summoner, which I have 2 copies of. Technically you could run 3. I only had 2, so that's the ones that I'm running. It lets you basically count 2 more Guardian Sphinxes in your deck. So you have 2 more tributes. So it's a very heavy tribute deck essentially. But of course we have one last Guardian monster to add to the deck, Guardian of the Throne Room, which yes, is a Guardian and is searchable with the effect of Arsenal Summoner. Just a fair enough beat stick, can take out a lot of monsters in Go format actually, both in attack and defense. Pretty much they need a real beat stick or something like Sorcerer to be able to take it down a lot of times. Then here's one that I would replace, but unfortunately I don't have the replacement monster. It is Peten the Dark Clown. Again, I also just wanted to play some cards that you don't really get to see in a lot of decks, and I had 3 Peten, so why not use them? 3 copies of that guy. If you wanted to fit the theme better, I would personally go for Nimble Momonga, but I actually only own 1 copy. I should probably get 2 more. They're probably not very expensive. But unfortunately that's what I'm stuck with. It's not the world's worst card. If you discard it with Charity, you do get the effect. You don't get it with other discard effects if they're like as a cost. So that's the unfortunate part. And also, if they hit it randomly with Duo, you also don't get the effect. So that also stinks. But you can discard it as a second card for Duo and get the effect. But basically, this is just to provide tribute fodder for your tribute monsters. Then I've got 3 Gravekeeper Spy because it is one of the best walls in the format and good tribute fodder. And rounding it out, I've got just 2 good monsters, Breaker the Magical Warrior and Tribe Infecting Virus. Just allow us to get some advantage with these awesome cards. Now on to these spells and traps. Of course, I'm running the usual Graceful Charity, Pot of Greed, no duel because this is a casual deck and I want to just have fun with my friends. But we do have Snatch Steal, MST, Heavy Storm, and Premature Burial, as well as 2 copies of Nobleman of Crossout. Then on to the non-standard spells, we have 3 copies of Soul Exchange in this deck, which allows us to tribute set our Guardian Sphinxes and even tribute set our Dark Dust Spirit to trick the opponent or force them to attack into it and then get all of their monsters destroyed. And we have also 1 copy of Book of Moon, allows us to reset our Guardian Sphinx if we had to flip it in an unconventional way because our opponent is, attacking into it on their turn, so that we can't flip it without keeping it in attack mode after using its effect. As well, it lets us reset our GK Spy and our Arsenal Summoners, and also set the opponent's monsters or a monster that's about to be snatched, stolen, or ringed. And then we've got the normal traps for GOAT format. Call Haunted Ring, Mirror Force, Torrential. Call Haunted especially useful in this deck because of the fact that we can use that to bring back our Guardian Sphinx and then get it re-going again. And then because our Guardian Sphinx is so weak to the opponent's Snatch Steal and things like that, we are actually running triple Spell Shield Type 8. It is a counter trap that allows you to negate the opponent's spell card that targets a monster on the field and allows you also to discard a spell card to negate any other spell cards. So if your opponent's using Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, or something like Heavy Storm, you can use it to negate those. Then we have 2 more cards. They're pretty interesting. We've got Sakuretsu Armor, because again, the opponent likes to make the play where they attack into your monster, into your Guardian Sphinx to try to keep it face up. But we could use this to stop that, and also lets us keep a monster on the field, and we don't have to worry as much about the opponent snowballing on us while we're trying to set up. And then finally, a special card that we are running in this deck is Embodiment of Apophis. It is a trap monster, well, the only trap monster in GOAT format, that during a main phase you could summon it as a 1600-1800 reptile, and it's another Earth, and you can target it with your Grand Marg, which is unfortunately a mandatory effect, and then flip it to keep it face up, and then it won't be destroyed by Grand Marg. But it's also good because it can give you some aggro in the deck, as well as allows you to tribute it off for your tribute monsters. So with all that said, that is deck profile. Let me know what you guys think, what changes you might make, and if you've played a deck like this in the past as well, if there is a spicy kind of deck that you would like me to build in the future. Thank you very much and have a good one.